Well, there are more than one kind of mousetrap. We've been using this traditional kind for years, and we actually reuse them by sanitizing it with bleach water or running a flame over it to get rid of any odor, and it's been very, very reliable. However, this is a new kind of mousetrap, and it's made of plastic, and so the cleanup and reuse is much easier, and it also is easier to set. This, we have found, actually has been working more reliably than our tried and true trap. We have purchased new wood traps that have not worked as well as this old wood trap. That's why we have reused this over and over again. It's been very effective, but we've had several opportunities to place them side by side now, and the plastic one has been set off regularly more easily than the wooden one. This plastic trap has had more catches, while this one has had very few when they're placed side by side. So the plastic trap seems to be more sensitive and snaps more reliably. So last night we had two traps set side by side. This one that's been very reliable, you can see there's no peanut butter left on the trigger here. It's completely been licked clean with no snap. However, we had two of these plastic ones also set in the same area, in the same way. The second plastic trap did catch a mouse. It snapped. So obviously these plastic traps require less. I think I even read on the packaging it says 15 grams of weight is all that's required to snap it. So we're going to snap this one since it didn't work. I have to press pretty hard to make it go. So I would say our choice is going to be the plastic, this new plastic design now. And now we'll see the difference when I touch it with, barely touch it with this. Boy, did it snap. I barely touched it and it went off. These plastic traps are also easier to set. You don't have to put your finger anywhere near the part that actually snaps and could break your finger. Instead, you use this bar as a handle to simply pull back, and I do it while I'm holding it in an upright position so that this little clamp stays in place. And that's all it takes. In contrast, I'll show you how to set up the traditional mouse trap, and it's pretty intimidating. You're lifting the actual portion that's going to snap back, so don't put your fingers anywhere on this side. Got to pull it back and don't let go. Hold it down. Don't try to stop it if it gets started, because you don't want your finger in there. And then this is caught, so we got to release it a little so we can swing this around. Gonna have to put it back so I can swing this around without getting, it won't even turn. There. Okay, now we're gonna pull this back. You can see this is a little nerve-wracking. And it has to go on this tiny little tab on the side, and it's got a catch. And with, you know, if it falls off when you let go, just, you got to let go of the spring a little bit so there's some tension, and assume it's going to snap as soon as I take my finger off, and assume it's not going to hold. Ah, it did. Okay, so it's pretty nerve-wracking. We'll slide that back into place, but you can see why I prefer the plastic trap. There's none of that nerve-wracking risk going on when you're holding back. So these can be sanitized, cleaned and sanitized and used again. Just, you know, put them in water. You could put a little bleach in there, but even if you don't, it'll clean it up. Because it's plastic, it doesn't retain any odor. It doesn't retain any stains like the wooden ones are. We used to clean the wooden ones off and had good luck with that, but after using these plastic ones, they're a lot easier, and we're ready to use this again. We also use some bleach water just to clean everything up. And this plastic or rubber bar across the wire seems to cause less of a mess when the mouse is trapped under there. You can see ours cracked a little bit, but this has been used many times and it's still holding. Okay, we usually put a little bit of peanut butter. This is the bait cup. And you can put it in the outside around these holes. Because it's wet, it's not sticking very well, but we just washed it off. And then put a few little morsels inside the bait cup. And when we pull back on here, it sometimes will catch and be set with holding it horizontally, but we have found sometimes it doesn't. And if it won't set, then you want to turn it up vertically, and it always will set that way. But this was so easy, and we are ready. Okay, there is another kind of mouse trap that will only snap down on the mouse if the mouse is entered from the front. And with that kind, you have to put a couple bricks on either side or something so that the mouse is sure to enter from the front. But with these, of course, just like with the traditional kind, all three sides can be entered, and the snap is going to be the same. So we have used the wooden traps for so many years, and they have been so effective, but now that we've tried these plastic ones, we're sold. They're easier, simpler to clean up, and they work better.